George Best was fading as fast as Manchester United and disappeared completely from the club after a row with manager Frank O'Farrell. The press began to worry about his whereabouts. They were short of copy. But his girlfriend at the time, Miss UK, was short on answers.
You saw George last evening. Was he in good spirits?
Well, he looked all right to me.
There's speculation that he's going through a fit of depression. Would you say that's true?
I don't know. I'm not saying.
What do you think his future is in football?
I don't know. I'm not a football fan.
George later turned up in Spain, but was not in the clearest state of mind as he fielded the usual questions.
Well, I just had to get away somewhere. And the way it turned out, Spain was I just got in a flight, and this is where I turned up, just for a complete break and get away from it all.
Back in England, the announcement of Best's retirement followed shortly.
He didn't seem to find any sort of consistency in his career and his life, and there were always problems. He didn't turn up for things, you know, and he let a lot of people say that he let them down. I think it was just generally the problems of a great young footballer having so much so early.
Meanwhile, no-nonsense Leeds, still in the Cup, journeyed to Wales to play Cardiff.
Jones. Giles! Giles. Lorimer. Alan Clark. Giles. Superbly taken by the man for me, who's been the player of the match.
Back in the league, Man City were top, and Malcolm Allison felt he'd signed the last piece of the jigsaw. Rodney Marsh.
There's probably only one club in England that I would like to play for, you know. That's Manchester City. As far as I'm concerned, anybody else, you know, I would have said no, probably, you know.
I wanted to buy Rodney Marsh because I wanted someone to hold the ball up, you know, at the front position. What I didn't realise how unfit he was. And then when he came to us, he started training with us. I mean, he used to be sick every day when he was training, you know, because the training was too hard for him. And so after 2 games, I dropped him. And I said, I'm going to bring you in the last game of the season, or last 2 games of the season.
Not to be outdone, Brian Clough tried to strengthen his pack for the run-in by buying Forest forward Ian Storey-Moore.
He's a Derby player and was a Derby player at, let's see, approximately 7 o'clock last night.
How do you feel about it, Ian? Fabulous. You joined a great club, yeah. Why do you think it's being suggested that you are now undertaking to Manchester United?
I don't know anything about that at all. All I know is that I've joined a great club.
However, newspaper reports still claim Storey-Moore had joined Manchester United.
Not again.
The Notts Forest Committee have held a meeting and they say the deal is now off. What do you have to say?
I'm not interested in what Notts Forest Committee have to say at all.
Surely this must have some influence on it.
I am not interested in what anybody has to say at all. Please don't ask me again.
As far as you're concerned, is Ian Moore still a Derby County player?
I told you before lunch, and I'm telling you now, he signed for Derby last night. Please do not waste my time again asking me the same question.
It was Mrs. Storey-Moore who in the end took the blame for her husband's decision to join United.
Would you say this was the first time in your married life that you really put your foot down?
Oh, definitely. Ian is the boss. I've always gone by Ian's decisions, and I felt it was time I intervened to a certain extent. I don't interfere with his football in any way, but where our personal happiness is concerned, I felt it was my duty as a wife to have him here and give him a chance to think clearly and decide what he wanted to do.
While Derby and Man City squabbled at the top, Leeds continued to keep their eyes on the prize.
Bremner. Forward for Gray again. Jones, Gray. Clark out to the left. In comes Clark. Gray through to Lorimer. Jones coming in. Number 2. On for Clark. Peters underneath it. In comes Jones! Say that Leeds are playing for Southampton is the understatement of the season. Poor Southampton just don't know what day it is. Every man jack of the Southampton Leeds side is now turning it on. Oh, look at that! It's almost cruel. The Ellen Road crowd are lapping it up. The second home match running. Leeds United are turning on a brilliant show, and the other team are just not on the park.
Maybe we were a wee bit cruel. Maybe certainly Southampton players took exception to it at the time, and rightly so. They were obviously trying to nail us when they got the opportunity to. But that particular day we were just too quick for them.
Leeds' formidable league form was now making even their severest critics seriously consider their double potential. 12 goals in 2 home games, and then in the quarter-final of the FA Cup, they met Spurs at home.
Kicked away by England. Now Cooper. Cooper's available. Fouled by Peters. Terry Cooper's tormenting this defence on the left. More and more coming up with the attack. More and more getting through on the outside. Beale, Pratt and Perryman together. That's Charlton! Well, Jack Charlton says he's never been kissed after scoring. But really, if they kissed him then, it wouldn't be surprising.